Hey there, I'm the Old Rambling Nerd, and you have found History of Comic Book Movies. Today we're going to look at the very best comic book movies from the 1980s. So let's go ahead and see what we got to work with. 1980, Superman 2. 1982, Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. 1983, Superman 3. Oh, here's a change of pace. 1984, Supergirl. And Sheena, the Queen of the Jungle. 1986 brought us the classic Howard the Duck. And 1987, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. You know, it's a lot of Superman. We just did 2 episodes of him. Take that out of the equation, we're left with good movies. 1980s, comic books. We're left with Howard the Supergirl. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to call it right here. Comic book movies, done for. They're dead. Howard the Duck, Supergirl, Superman 4, 84, 86, 87. You can't survive that. There's no way that people are going to keep making comic book movies. It's over. They're done for. We're never going to get a good one again. That's it. Oh, that's right. There was one more superhero film of the 80s. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. Episode 3, Batman! That's right. We're talking old school Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Danny Elfman, Tim Burton. The one that started it all again. The 89 Batman. Here's a fact about Batman. It was the first PG-13 film not associated with Steven Spielberg. Here's another fact about Batman. It was the first PG-13 film that I saw in the theaters. In the summer of '89, you weren't anybody unless you had the Bat logo on your shoes, on your shirt, shaved into your head. Batman took over that year. He didn't just run the box office from summer. This thing was in theaters clear until December. It made all the money from the toys, the shoes, the hats, the shirts. Oh yeah, the films too. Now the summer of '89 starts with a teaser poster. You saw it on the title card. Black, Bat logo, no names, no movie title, just a date, June 23rd. You want to know what this is? Show up in June. Comic book fans, you know what this is. Show up June 23rd. And people showed up. And people love this film. And people fell in love with Batman again like it was 1966. One of my favorite moments in this crazy comic book of a movie is when the Joker goes into an art museum, defaces the art with spray paint, while listening to Prince on a boombox. Let me say that again. The Joker defaces art with spray paint while listening to Prince on a boombox. That sentence couldn't be more 1980s unless he was doing it to try to impress Kim Basinger. That scene is so off the wall crazy. And it presents this really interesting view of the Joker. He describes himself as the first fully functioning homicidal artist. The Joker sees all of his work as art. The weird and the macabre and the death as art. Gee, who does that sound like? Director Tim Burton. This is a Tim Burton film through and through. It's Tim Burton's vision of Batman, but it's still very much a Tim Burton film. It's got misfits and outsiders in crazy costumes. It's got clowns and mimes. It's got the balloons in the last scene are sketches of Tim Burton's. It doesn't have any snow, but it does have a Danny Elfman theme. I recently rewatched this film, and I gotta tell you, Danny Elfman doing Batman is as good of a fit as John Williams doing Superman. It's some really good music, and it's stirring, and it's heroic, and it's superhero-y, and it's Danny Elfman-y, and it's Tim Burton-y, but it's also somehow Batman-y. It's a fantastic score. Danny Elfman knocks it out of the park here. Now, you'll hear people say that Batman isn't a perfect film. And what a lot of people are saying is that it doesn't match the comic book exactly, that there are some differences. But at the time, people really didn't care about that. This was the Batman movie we had, and it was great. It was 99% Batman. And what people don't say about films today is, well, Iron Man's not good because Iron Man fought in Vietnam in the comic books, and in the movie he's like in the Middle East or something. In the comics he has a mustache, not a goatee. In the same way, you don't hear people say, did you know that Captain America was created in one facility and trained at a totally different military camp? Or, you know, he met Sharon Carter after he became Captain America. Now, part of the reason is because those changes are good and they're organic and they stay with the root and the core of the character. You know, the Incredible Hulk never fought gamma-radiated poodles. Okay, so some changes are just dumb. And I think the Batman film fits right in the middle. It's got a lot of Batman in it. We've got the bat symbol. We've got the dead parents. We have the Joker being Joker. We have Batman doing detective work to undo the scheme of the Joker. Then we have a big fight at the end. We get the Batwing, the Batmobile. There's a lot of Batman in there. So let's answer the question. Who is Batman? Who is Batman in the 1989 Tim Burton film specifically? Here's my thesis. He's a scared little kid. He sees his parents murdered before him, somewhere around the ages of 8 to 10. And Bruce Wayne stops. He hits Arrested Development. And he never grows past that scared little kid. A photographer and a reporter who are on the trail of who Batman is. And they come across this picture of a scared little Bruce Wayne right after his parents were shot. Now, of course, Kim Basinger, a.k.a. the photographer, a.k.a. the film's eye candy, falls in love with Bruce Wayne, and her search to understand this mysterious Bruce Wayne, and her trying to figure out who the Batman is, of course, meet, because she's looking for the same guy. So let's talk about Batman, Bruce Wayne, played by Michael Keaton. Of course, we all know and love the serious, dramatic actor Michael Keaton. And in 1989, he was fresh off his deep, heartfelt performance of Beetlejuice? They hired Beetlejuice to be Batman? That's not right. Oh, it's what happened, my friends. And a lot of people are upset about it. In my day, the internet was called writing a letter. And 50,000 people sent letters to Warner Brothers saying, don't you dare cast Keaton as Batman. He'll screw up the whole franchise. Wasn't even a franchise yet, but he was going to screw it up. But then we saw the film. Michael Keaton's good. He's good as Batman. He's great as Bruce Wayne. He's just good. He's a good actor, and he brings the role to life. Batman is this troubled guy with, to use Tim Burton's words, anger behind the eyes. He's a little unhinged. Batman is not sane. He might be the protagonist. He might even be a good guy of the film. But he's not rational. He's not someone you should look up to. And Michael Keaton brings that to the film. So here's the thing about the Joker. The character has to match the character of Batman. Adam West, Cesar Romero, they match. You don't take Heath Ledger and put him next to Adam West. It wouldn't work. Just like you don't take Cesar Romero and put him next to Christian Bale. It's not going to work. Jack Nicholson and the tone that he brought to that Joker, crazy, unhinged, making stupid jokes and killing people, fits perfectly with what Michael Keaton and Tim Burton and Warner Brothers were doing with the Batman film. He might be my favorite Joker. Heath Ledger might be more of a submersive role. It might be more of a greater leap, and there might be more acting going on there. So when you watch Nicholson in Batman, after having seen The Departed, you wonder if he's doing the Joker in The Departed, or if he's just being Jack Nicholson in both films. But either way, it works. Every line that he spews, every noise and random thing that he does, it's just the Joker. And it's fantastic. My favorite Joker, maybe the best Joker performance out there. So what did the '89 Batman film leave behind? What did it add to the language of superhero films? Well, it added abs and black rubber in the costume. Rather than have Michael Keaton hit the gym and bulk up, they just threw him in a suit. It's the first PG-13 franchise. It's the one that made all the money and all the merchandising. It's the one that established this idea of franchise and sequel. It set up the good guy and the bad guy need to have a history together before they fight in the final scene. And of course, 1992's Batman the Animated Series. The look and feel of that cartoon was directly from the Burton films. Batman '89 is a darker film. And a lot of people will point back to the 1986 Dark Knight Returns as the influence on the film. Now, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns certainly show that comics could be darker, more adult, more mature, and it helped get the movie greenlit. But the impetus, the desire to make a more serious, more adult Batman, to break out of the 1966 Adam West camp, was actually the idea to go back to the O'Neill and Adams Batman books of the 1970s. Dark Knight Returns is a very influential book. It was a part of Batman '89. However, there's other stronger influences as to the creation of Tim Burton's 1989 Batman. And even more than that, you're still influenced by the 1966 Adam West film. Watching Batman '89 again, man, there are Dutch angles all over the place. There's clearly some homage back to the Wow Pam Biff Adam West Batman film. And that's okay, because Batman can be fun. Superheroes can be lighthearted. They can fight on this grand scale that makes no sense. It doesn't actually apply to our real lives. Because something doesn't have to be real for it to contain truth. The truth of them may be that good always wins. And even more than that, the truth of them may be that we want a world where good always wins. And so we look to heroes. We look to what that world might be, either to escape our own or to dream about how we can change the world in which we live. So those are my thoughts on Tim Burton's Batman. Next time, Batman Returns, a Tim Burton film that Batman happens to be in. Bye, Joe.